You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off.
Hello and welcome to round number 8 of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter from Oulton Park over in the United Kingdom. Welcome to the broadcast. So for Race First, I'm Matt Houston. Another race here in the BMW Car Club of America. We have about 12 and a half minutes left in qualifying here from the Oulton Park circuit. A lot of concern from the drivers about this particular track. Really short, really tricky road course that they really don't have as much experience in. But we're going to see them do the best. You can see just on the shots there, it is really narrow. And we have a number of interesting corner numbers that we'll be going through as the night progresses. I guess we'll go ahead and see if we can find one of these drivers. Maybe go on board with Darren Treakle, one of our sponsors here in the series, and see if he can take us for a lap here. Currently provisional pole sitter is Darren. Hadn't seen him for a couple weeks. Good to see him back in the series. We've also got Hendrick there in P2, Steve Ficacci, Brian Kennedy in P4, Colin Kortanek P5. So let's go on board with our provisional pole sitter. He's about to finish off a lap. I'll start with some corner numbers and names when we go through across the start-finish line, which is coming right up here. That's the exit corner. That's the start-finish line. We're coming up to the turn 1, a right-hander, pretty fast, called Old Hall Corner. Little straight here called the Avenue into Denton's, and then a left-hander, Cascades, that's really easy to drive off on the right side of the track. And this straightaway is called Lakeside. And then we'll have a left-hand bend they call Island Bend, and then a hairpin that has some banking to it called the Shell Oil Corner. Pretty fast corner thanks to the banking there. Through a straightaway. There's a chicane here. We're running the chicane. That's 7, 8, and 9 is the chicane. Holston's Corner is what it's called. Then heading over the hilltop here into another chicane. There's actually options to not run these chicanes. And that is through turns 10, 11, and 12. Slow corner coming off of there. The Knickerbrook Corner. This is turn 13, Clay Hill. Heading into a very narrow section that has the forest on either side. It's through the water tower. And turn 14, 15 is the Druids Corner. And it looks like Darren's getting out of the way for Ficacci there. But this would be turn 16. And he exits that corner. I think he might be coming into the pits. Yeah, and then that would have been a lap there as the start-finish line. So thanks, Darren. No problem to him. Ficacci goes provisional pole there. So Darren's going to get some new sticky tires, get them on that car, and see if he can get another run out here. We've got a new driver out here tonight. Barry Buchanan, I think is the name of pronunciation. We'll have to get a correct pronunciation from Barry. I know he's been spending a lot of money, we'll say, getting a sim rig going. buying a new steering wheel. I don't know if he's got all of this ready to go. Sometimes when you order, say, a Fanatec wheel, it can take a while in this current climate to get it, but I'm expecting since he's out here, he probably has everything's ready to go. Made a bit of a mistake and was practicing the wrong track, he said, in the driver's meeting, and he was running the Oulton Park. We're here at Oulton Park here in the UK, but Barry's getting up to speed here as he puts down a lap. First lap there, about a second off of the back of the grid there, but Barry's, we got a stopped car. That is Yakov Bielik over here, stopped on the track. Might have had to take a phone call, something like that. That is the Crafting for a Cure car. We've got Hendrik Deswart here. Pink rims, number 69, Hyper, or Pit Viper, I was going to say Hyper, Pit Viper sunglasses car, his personal sponsor, or personal choice of sponsor, I suppose you could say. We really have a really committed group of drivers here in the series. You know, we've been broadcasting these since last year, and most of these names have been here at just about every race we've had. Oh, and Bradford's getting in the grass. The grass can be really, really slick here as he's coming across the start-finish line. He's got, I was watching this car earlier. Who is that car that's running? Not Hill. Because that's like one of the default cars. I'm not sure who that is. Scott Kim here is our admin in the series. This is the 8th round that we broadcast, our 8th round of the season. We're going to be doing 2 more broadcasts coming up every 2 weeks, and then we'll be starting another season here into the summer, into June. Checking out any final notes before the race starts. We have about 6 minutes left in the qualifying session. I guess this would be a good time to give a shout out to our sponsors here for the series. And so we have Hagerty and Treakle Insurance. Treakle Insurance is Darren Treakle. Let's see what Darren's out here. He might be putting it hot laps in, but Treakle Insurance, this is Darren's company here on track at the moment, is an independent insurance agency covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. And they've gone ahead and teamed up with Hagerty Insurance to provide collector car coverage as well as race car and track day coverage. So some big stuff there if you're out and about in racing that you want to have your car insured. Another driver here sponsoring the series. This is a Beltway Brewing Company car, Sten Cellier. So Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and they have a lineup of handcrafted IPAs, lager sour stouts, and seltzer. And you can order directly from their website, beltwaybrewco.com, for contact-free delivery right to your door. Obviously, this is over if you're near Sterling, Virginia. Not where I'm at, in Indianapolis, Indiana. But you can also just head on over and pick it up at their Sterling taproom right there. So nice crafted brewery there. So those are our sponsors. As we head to 5 minutes left in qualifying, let's look at some average speeds here. Average speed here, 103 miles an hour for Fikachi. See Chris Hill near the back of the field right now, just getting out here. He's going to have some traffic to deal with. As he tries to put down a fast lap. Chris had his first taste, as long as I understand, his first taste of an IndyCar earlier this week. A little bit different beast for him. no traction control, no ABS brakes, turbo engine, 750 horsepower. As Brian Kennedy also having some experience with that as well, but that wasn't his first race though. As Kennedy heads through the corner here, that chicane, one of our passing points here. There are some options that the admins can choose. iRacing has a bunch of different variety of tracks that track layouts that the admins can choose, and this is the international course with all the corner numbers, all the chicanes. Oh, Brian Kennedy goes off there. Let me get that on the screen. So yeah, I always like, as a viewer, knowing who the camera is following, so we've got that for you. So Darren here, currently second, going to be trying to put in a good lap here. See if he can get back on the provisional pole. As he's currently 4/10 off of that. Kennedy's currently P3. Hendrick there at P4. Hill has come out and done a P5, so that puts him up here. Coming up, 2 minutes to go. That'll be plus about a minute or so with the anybody that is on a lap can finish their lap, so that takes about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. $19 drivers here tonight. We did have a little bit less of a car count a couple weeks ago. I think it was, I don't know, it was might have been 16 or 17, even though it was a popular track there at Daytona, but we then understood that a lot of people were on spring break here around this time of year, and that made a lot of sense, and now we're back up in car count just a little bit. Can always join this series by looking up BMW NCC on iRacing, joining the league there in iRacing, and of course, checking out the Discord, because that's where you want to be. That's where the conversation's at. As Yakov Bielik gets out of the way there, Hill goes P2. Familiar names up here at the front. Hendrick back to P5. Hendrick's not going to be happy with that. Oh, Fikachi coming out of the pits there. That's a little bit too late, though, I have to say. About 20 seconds left. He's not going to be able to do another lap. Bielik's really strong here today. Taking to this British track rather nicely there in P6. Looking at anybody else that might be out here. Over there in P14, Sten is out here still as well. But yeah, everybody out in the crowd here tonight, let me know who you're following as a driver. We can have a look at them. As Barry here, and one of our new drivers out here, looks like he's going to be taking that tail into the field. He's working hard, learning the car. Of course, we're going to switch things up on him come June and the summer series when we switch back over to the M8 car. As Hill goes across the line, is he able to do another lap? We'll see. Last lap was too slow. It looks like he's going to call it a day, though. Darren's on a lap, though. And he's going to come across. Oh no, he takes over the second position over Hill. Good run there by Darren to get him back to that front row where you want to be. We know Darren's action man at the start of these races from earlier this season, but I think we're done with qualifying here, so let's go ahead, bring up this grid. And so we're going to have Steve Ficacci on the pole with a minute 33.759, followed by Darren Treakle, Christopher Hill, Brian Kennedy, P4, Hendrik Deswart in P5, Yakov Bielik, really great run by Yakov in P6, Colin Kortanek, P7, Igor Soiker in P8, Bobby Blankenship in 9th, Peter Yerksa in 10th, Dean Thuline at P11, Brian Hare, P12, and we've got Scott Kim, P13, Matthew Stover, P14, Sten Cellier, P15, John Wood, P16, Robert Benson, P17, Tim Bradford, P19, and the back of the field here, Barry Buchanan, new driver here coming up. So let's head on up to the front of the field and see what's going on here. Are we still out here? Okay, we're waiting. That was our grid, though. Let's see here. Are we doing a standing start or are we doing a roller tonight? We'll know when we see the pace car. We've got the pace car. This is going to be a rolling start. Following Ficacci. So they were saying, the drivers were saying that it's going to take about 3 or 4 laps to get these tires up to temperature. And then they're going to go and try to keep it clean. Really narrow track, once again. We were saying that. Tough track with 8 cars. It's going to be quite packed with 19 cars here tonight. 19 BMW M4 GT3 prototypes. Darren Treakle there on the outside position. That's a nice view of the field. Still waiting on it. Looks like Hendrick's waiting. Hendrick might be following some advice. We'll see. We will see what Hendrick decides to do here. No, he grids. He's there. He wants that extra fuel. He's waiting for it. Gonna be about 30-minute race here coming up. We're estimating about 20 laps from that. As the pace car pulls away, it's gonna be a short pace lap. Through over the hill. Porsche's pace car. That's my favorite of the pace cars. That was exiting the Druids corner where they're heading up to the 16-17 complex. One of our passing points, but a really tricky corner with that elevation change. And the pace car is gonna duck in, and we have our green. A really early start by Ficacci. Hill's gonna take advantage. Treakle is going to line up behind. Bielik off in that orange car in the back. We'll keep focus on the leaders here. Tough break for Bielik back there. He's dropping back to 11th position, but he's back on the track now. So far, so good. Heading back up to the front. Coming to our first chicane here is the leader. And then they'll head on to the second chicane. Tough to get around these chicanes and get a good run. And bringing up that grid now that everything's done bugging out. We've got Hill pressuring our leader in Fikachi right on his bumper. It's going to be really difficult to make passes here tonight. Hendrick making up a position there in P4. Kennedy dropping back a position to P5. Under pressure from Bartanek. We've got a car on the pit lane, I think. I heard something. Yerxa around. Coming out of the corner here. Okay, I'm not sure if there was anybody on the pits, but Fikachi just about, or Hill just about 3/10 back from Fikachi. And on to the first chicane, that is turn 7, 8, and 9 right there. And on to the second chicane, turns 10, 11, and 12. Hill's maintaining that gap to Fikachi. Back in the grid, have a good group of cars with Scott Kim, Stover, and Cellier up ahead. Yerxa at the back of the grid now after that early spin. Bradford had some issues too, I believe. Got some action in the back here between Stover and Scott Kim, our admin in the series. I think that car I'm hearing on pit lane is the pace car in the Porsche. Scott Kim thinks, oh, Scott Kim's going to give the chrome horn to Matthew Stover. Let's go on board with Kim here, right behind. Stover gives him room. He's the admin of the series. You got to give him room. And he completes a pass there. And Stover looks like he's going to try to come back. Kim just was giving him the bump and run like in NASCAR. Ooh, and Stover gets a good exit here, side by side. And makes the pass on Kim. Gotta watch out for those tire stacks in those chicanes. You don't want to go run into one of those. You can see in the back of the grid already 30 seconds back is the 19th position. That's Buchanan. He lost a couple spots there. Igor Soiker, that's the car we were looking for earlier. In 8th, got Bobby Blankenship in 7th. Bobby's doing a good job here. He's up a couple spots from 9th where he started. Under pressure from Igor here. We got Julian Alternator out in the crowd tonight, talking about the Elvor series as Igor gives a little bit of a bump to the back of Bobby Blankenship. Because we ran this series in the we ran this track in Oulton Park in the Elvor series in the IndyCar. Not a good combo for the IndyCar. We didn't run the chicanes though. Fikachi still at the front. this battle here between Soiker and Blankenship is the best battle on the track. And they head through the Druids corner. There's also a Druids corner. It's a hairpin at Brands Hatch, another UK track, British track. They like that corner name for some reason. Oh, we've got Hill getting really close to Fikachi up here. These tires should be up to temperature fully. Now, Hill's looking inside through Island Bend, side by side, little bit of contact. Hill runs Fikachi off the track, and Fikachi's gonna pound into the tire barrier. Hill's not, and Treakle is, we're gonna get a replay of that in a moment, but Treakle pressuring Hill now. I don't think that's gonna be a popular move with the stewards. Okay, we'll get a replay of that one with Fikachi. So let's see what we've got here. We can get a better angle on this. With the blimp, let's look at the blimp here. Yeah, or let's look at the chopper. Up in the chopper here. You're gonna watch side by side through Island Bend they go. Oh, just a little bit of contact there. And nothing you can do. He just glancing below of the tire barrier there. And is he going to get it back onto the track? Gonna have a red mist in the eyes. Is Fikachi, and he's going to make it back to the track? Maybe, eventually. There he goes, onto the track. What can this car do now? That car does not look healthy. Heading back up, yep, so Fikachi is on the pit lane now. Hopefully getting a repair, but that might be extensive. I think they might have a fast repair though, so then he wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, so he's gonna have a fast repair there. But the damage is done. We've got a Cellier fan out there. He's got some pressure that he's putting on Scott Kim, who got around him earlier in the race. Beltway Brewing Company car. Instant Cellier there. The Sten supporters always know, give a shout out in the crowd and you'll get the car on the cameras. That's how you do it. Fikachi's already up to 16th position. Not losing a ton of time, like it could have been a whole lot worse. This is going to get really interesting. The leaders are going to come up to lap traffic at some point here, and getting around this lap traffic is really difficult here at Oulton Park. As Sten goes off just ever slightly there. Back up to the battle for 5th position, Igor Soiker. Bobby Blankenship in 5th. Oh, and Bobby Blankenship spins it around on the exit of the chicane. And he's going to drop back. He's going to try this chicane again. He's almost going to get run into the rear of, but Brian Hare sees it and doesn't run into the back of him. Look at that, Julian. Chris Hill coming under pressure from Darren Treakle. Darren had a win a couple races, or several races back now, maybe 4 races ago, I don't know, in our broadcasts. Battling with Hill in those races as well. There has been talk of a new point system in this series. We currently score points back to the 10th position, as Cortanic is in the pits. Is this a regularly scheduled stop? Checking if we had any off tracks. Let's see, Stover had an off track, but so far so good. Scott Kim got around, or I got around, let's see, who was that? Oh, it was our pit cars and Cortanic. Cortanic back on the track, Team Gas Burn in this Dell Technologies car, number 32. Darren Treakle getting a little bit better entry, lower entry into that corner, turn 1. Chris Hill throws up some dirt. It's gonna be tough for Treakle to get around. As Hendrick back here. Just waiting for these two in front to come in. Oh, we've got Barry back here into the tire barrier, a little bit like how Steve Higachi did it earlier. Let's get a replay on Barry here. Oh yeah, this is tough to do. There's really nothing he can do in this grass, and he smacks that tire barrier. And that river, that water was really going fast back there. Look at that. That's pretty nuts how fast that's going. Okay. Looking for battles on the track. Higachi is coming up on Stover here. Higachi is going to be the fast one here. Oh, we've got that is Brian Kennedy coming out of the pit lane. Oh, that was not good, Brian. Let's look at what happened here. Cold tires. We talked about that early in the race, and now they've got new tires, and they're cold. Oh, and actually what it was he got that right rear tire in the grass, and that's what sent him around. Not what you want. Hate when that happens. Darren's just lurking back there. Over the rumble strips out of that exit of turn 1. Through Cascades corner. Going on board with Darren Treakle. Let's see, he has that. The BMW here has an LCD display for backup camera they use for whatever's behind them. As you can see, Hendrick off there in the back in that camera. Just like the production cars have this LCD camera for reversing. Scott Kim has gone ahead and brought it to the pit lane. Let's have a look here. Did he have to tow or something? He's been on the pit lane for a while. Let's see what we've got here. I saw something there. He looked like he was crapping. Uh-oh. Something has already happened here for Scott Kim. Let's see if we can figure out. Yep. Nope, even here, it's already happened. Oh, Sten gave him a little bit of the chrome horn here. Let's have a look here. So through the corner here, through Island Bend. Oh, yeah, and coming into what is the Shell Oils corner, Scott Kim gets a little bit of the chrome horn from Sten. There. So, a lot of contact here tonight. A little bit more than usual. Both at the front and the midfield. Uh-oh. Oh, we've got several cars. Oh, boy. There was something happening there that Darren decided to abandon ship on coming to the pits. So let's see what happened there. I think there was a traffic jam in the pit lane. Whoa. Yeah. There was something. That was just, it caught up really quickly. I'm going to go on board with Darren to see. Watch. So he had, I think that's like Brian Hare or somebody ahead of him. And Chris Hill just decides at the last moment, okay, let's go on board with Darren here for that replay and see what it looked like from him too. Or did he, was he actually going to the pits? Yeah, he was thinking about it and then decided against it. Whoa, boy. That should give Hill a interesting, he might, I don't know, it's really going to be interesting here to see. That little bobble by Treakle might put him back, but we'll see what happens. He'll look committed to that, though. Now Darren's going to bring it into the pits. So we will watch what Hill can do. He's coming through the final corner up here. This is the final corner. We'll see what Darren can do. Darren's still in the pit lane. It looks like Hill's going to be plenty clear of him with that little bobble that Darren had, where he abandoned ship on that pit. Hendrick also had pit. Everybody is in the pits. Bobby Blankenship brings it into the pits. He got up to P4 through the cycling of pit stops. So Steve Ficacci is going to be in 4th position, but I don't think he can make it to the end of the race because he had to pit so early. We will see what happens here. So, Treakle is about 2.5 seconds back from Hill, so it's going to take a big bobble from Treakle. Bielik has caught up to Brian Kennedy up here, though. Bielik had a pretty big off on that opening lap. Finds himself back to 7th. is only one spot back from where he started, but he had gotten back to, I don't know, 10th or 11th at one point. Scott Kim is back on the track, so is Barry. Closest battle on the track is this battle between Bielik and Kennedy. Kennedy is quite a bit faster, it appears, than Bielik, though, so I think that Kennedy is just going to end up pulling away in that Dell Technologies car. As we're about 8 minutes left in the race, let's quickly do another shout out to our sponsors. So we'll go look at Stan Cellier here in the 10th position. Stan owns the Beltway Brewing Company and thirsty for an award-winning local craft beer. Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and proudly represents the DMV. You can try their lineup of originally handcrafted IPAs, lager, sour stouts, and seltzer. And you can order directly from Beltway's website, beltwaybrewco.com, for contact-free delivery right to your door, or pick it up at the Sterling taproom. Followed by Treakle Insurance and Hagerty Insurance. And that is Darren Treakle in P2's position, or a company. Treakle Insurance is an independent insurance agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance, and they've teamed up with Hagerty Insurance to provide collector car coverage as well as race car and track day coverage. So really cool, that thing that they do here. You want that track day coverage, race car insurance, if you're doing any club racing. Nobody ever crashes until they do. And then you want that insurance. Fikachi is, Soiker made it up to 4th, and now Fikachi pressuring Soiker here. Heck of a recovery drive so far by Fikachi, though, but I don't know if he can make it to the end of the race then. And they're coming up on some lap traffic. Lap traffic is gonna go let them go. Really good battle here on the track between Fikachi and Soiker. Soiker's gonna guard the inside line, make Fikachi go the long way around. Nearly contact between the two drivers, but not quite, and they keep going. Cars aimed in the pointed position through the front of the field. Side by side again they go. This isn't going to work through Druids, and there might have been some slight contact between the two drivers, but they both keep it going. Brian Kennedy is catching up to Bielik here. The next closest battle on the track, now that Fikachi is past Soiker. Bielik in the orange car, Kennedy in the Dell Chrome car. And they're coming up on that lap traffic as well. Good play-in issue here. Oh, we've got a car stuffed in the barrier back here. Is he gonna try to pull it out? That was Fikachi. Quickly get a replay of Fikachi here. And then I want to cut right back to Kennedy. Oh, he loses the rear. He did it on his own this time. Oh boy. And that is right into the barrier. That's a tough race for. As the cars, Kennedy and Bielik in one of the lap cars, As Kennedy really applies, back to live picture, applies the pressure to Bielik here. Fagachi back to 7th now. Kennedy looking inside of Bielik through the Lodge corner, out of the start finish. Great, takes over that 5th position. Treakle's about 2 seconds back from Hill. He was about a half second faster than Hill that last lap, but I think Hill might have encountered some lap traffic that last lap. Darren blinks his light at that lap car. And Barry gets out of the way. We've got a really big gap here. From Soiker to Hendrick is 30 seconds. That's one of the bigger gaps that we've had from the front of the field to the back of the field. Kind of who's who on who's actually had like some big offs and who hasn't. Cellier in that final points paying position. He's fighting with Fakachi here, who's kind of dropped through the field. And Fakachi's going to take over that points paying position, even with that damaged car that he's got. We've got about 2 minutes to go is what I'm showing, so although that's saying 3 laps, it might only be 2, so we will come up with it in a moment. No matter where Hill comes across the start-finish line. Yeah, I would say it's 2 laps to go here. And I believe that's the white flag. Is that going to update to that? We will see. As Treakle's about 2 seconds back from Hill. Saying we got 2 laps left, so we'll go by that. Last lap for Hill was a minute 35.297 to Darren's minute 34.521, so Darren's really catching up. I don't know if that was due to lap traffic or what. Could be tires that maybe have gone off on Hill's car. Fakachi having some more issues back here. This is just all going pear-shaped, as they would say over in the old country. Okay, we are now on the white flag final lap here. I think that updated for us. And this will be the final few corners here and a checkered flag momentarily. Chris Hill back to his victory ways. Checkered flag, Hill takes the victory, followed by Darren Treakle in second, and Hendrick in P3. Happy to get that podium position. Oh, that was good from... We'll get a replay of that. Sorry to cut away from that one there. This is what we like to see at the end of the races here in the BMW National Capital Chapter. And stuck in the tire barrier is Hendrick. Igor Soiker still trying to finish the race. Got in the action in the first corner. Brian Kennedy brings it home, P6. Kennedy opting to go with the non-contact policy. And that is our grid here for the night. Hill, Treakle, and Hendrick here. So, we've got Kennedy doing some flips back there. We'll try to get a replay of that. Yep, there we go. He was launched by our admin there, so this will be a good one. Caution to our viewers at home. Watch that rear view camera. And we will be back momentarily for our podium interviews.
And as far as I could see, there was no contact, but I think we both were battling and both ended up a little hot, and he just had less road next to him. But at least as far as I could see, I hope there wasn't like net code there or something like that. He might have also been trying to avoid avoid my overcooking and just kind of ran out of room too. So
yeah,
it's hard to say. I definitely want to talk to him about it and see how he feels about it, because it was definitely quite a nip and tuck kind of moment there, you know.
yeah, it's
So
really, really narrow here at Oulton Park. So
yeah, there's
it's
no margin for error. I mean, you make one little tiny mistake and it's like a race ender pretty much. So
yeah, it's just it's an old track that it can barely fit two cars. And then when you also have a kind of a bending corner, it's really hard to put two cars in there. But you had a good run on him, and you don't get many good runs here at this track, so you kind of have to take it when you got it. So you
yeah,
threw it up the
exactly.
inside, and you prayed, and it worked out for you. Yeah, we'll have to see what Steve says about that. But he had a bunch of other
Yeah,
issues as the race went on. Probably he might have had some of the red mist in his eyes. So,
for sure, for sure. And it's definitely something that, yeah, I mean, I definitely need to go over with it, because it was, we always try to race clean in this league. And
Oh yeah.
if he felt I was in the wrong, then I, definitely don't want any bad blood building, because that's definitely not what we
Yeah,
want. But
well,
yeah, it's otherwise it ended up being a good race all the way to that point. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's kind of,
you were right there, and you're keeping it. I saw that you kind of came in late into the qualifying, or maybe it was into practice, and came in late, and you were at the bottom of the list at one point in time, and then slowly you were like fifth, and then you were second or third, and then that's where you got started with. You had a really good start. Steve went early, and you got the jump on Darren, so that helped out, I think, too.
yeah, it's kind of a reverse of last week, where I guess that one wasn't broadcast, but I was starting second, and I think it was Steve that was starting third, and did the same thing to me. And at New Jersey, we just couldn't pass. Same kind of thing as here. It was like not a lot of places to take a look or anything like that. And and it definitely got a good start and all that. And I was just a little late showing back up from work, and had to have the wife log on and get me get me logged in just to make sure I would even start, even if I missed qualifying or something. And was fortunate enough to just get home in time enough to get a halfway decent lap in and get into it. So all things considered, couldn't have worked out much better. But like I said, definitely bummed when that happens with Steve and such. I would have liked to have been able to keep the battle going through the race and had the pressure there, because I'm sure he would have done something smart in the pits or something and
actually now
had a good battle back.
There was an interesting moment with you and Darren going into the pits, where there was kind of a slow car. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, it was definitely. I didn't see what happened with Darren. I thought he followed me in. I saw the slow car diving for the pits, but I had already committed, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go in as best I could." And I did my stop, and I come out, and I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't see Darren pass me, so I must have had it." Yeah. And then I look, and he's 25 seconds down the road, and I'm like, "Okay, so I guess I guess we didn't pit on the same lap."
He abandoned ship on that one. So
yeah. So I was thinking for sure he'd have a chance on that. On the overcut, so to speak, or whatever. But all in all, though, a good race. I'll be looking forward, though, to getting to a more traditional type of track. The last couple of weeks have been not the greatest for side-by-side racing, and I think
it looks like
we got Laguna and then Sonoma, so that'll be.
Yeah, there was kind of a mess up on the schedule. One of the schedules had Laguna as next, and one of them had New Jersey as the last race. So it is Laguna that is next, and then the next broadcast race will be Road Atlanta. So that's a sports car track. So really long straightaways, really good passing points on that track.
Love that track for sure.
Yeah,
I haven't been there in person yet, but I love it in the sim. So
yeah, it's a good one, fun. Particularly for sports cars, GT cars. It's a really good track. It has a tricky uphill section after turn 1. But you kind of have to go side by or a single file through there, but it opens up in the rest of the track.
It's such a tricky section to get the line consistent through there. So it's definitely a fun one for sure.
Well, any shout outs? I know you gave a shout out to the wife there. That's an important one. Any other shout
definitely have to thank that sponsor for sure, because without her logging me in and literally was like a blur through the door to the sim as they came in the door, and she had everything all ready for me. So big thanks to her for that. Mm-hmm. Of course, thanks to all the guys at work for helping me get out of work on as quick as possible there, because they all, rooting me on the sim stuff, and that was definitely appreciated. And of course, have to mention our, my other private instruction business that I've got there, Precision Racing Instruction, and we actually just launched our Facebook and Instagram this week. So
very cool.
You can look us up on there if you guys anybody's looking for some help, even on the sim. We do anything on pretty much any type of driving and competing and all that kind of stuff. And so always looking to expand that along with everything I do at BMW, which I'll continue to do for as long as I can. And
as long as they'll let you.
Exactly. As long as I can keep having a non-job, I'll keep doing that, So
sounds good. Yep.
Yeah. But thanks for doing the broadcast, and thanks to Scott for organizing, and see you guys in a couple weeks.
Good. Well, we'll see you back in a couple of weeks at Road Atlanta. Congrats on the victory there, Chris.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. All right. We'll bring up Darren. Is he in here? Yeah, there he is. Hey, Darren. This is Matt up here in the booth.
Hey, Matt.
How's it going? You can tell me about your race, but my 2 points of the race for you were the start. Steve had a really good jump, and then because of that, Chris had a good jump. And then tell me about that pit lane kind of thing, that entry to the pit lane, and where you decided I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Well, my start was terrible. Obviously, because both Steve and Chris got a jump on me. They threw the green a little quicker than I had anticipated. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much it there. But so on the pit stop, I saw Chris going into the pits. I knew we were coming up on the lapper. I saw Chris going into the pits, and I was going to follow But then I saw the lapper was staying. It looked like he was staying left. Chris slipped by on the right, and then Then the lapper went back right from what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was going to get held up behind him. So I was like, you know what? Last minute, I turned left, right out, and went back and said, I'll do a lap.
Yeah.
Try to get in a good clean lap, and then go into the pits.
Mm-hmm.
So that was certainly a last minute decision.
Yeah.
Where I would have caught the lapper, I don't know if it was the right decision or not, but where I caught him, there was a little bit of a distance that we would have had to driven before hitting the pit limiter, right? So Chris would have been able to get that much more of a gap on me just entering the pits.
Yeah, and you never know if you could have just ran into the guy,
Well, yeah, or if he would have came, or maybe he would have came over on me if I would have tried to follow or whatever. But so, I last minute I decided to do that, jump back out and do a lap. But then I came in and I had a good clean pit. The problem was, when I went to take off, I didn't have the gas pinned. So I took off at like low RPMs, and this car basically just kind of crawls unless you have it pinned, and that little bit gave Chris just a little bit more of a gap on me. So that was the whole pit stop debacle.
It was good seeing you back on the podium here this week. You had a good run at the end of the day. You dropped back to third. You got back to second at the end of the day. Hey, tell me what you saw on that incident between Chris and Steve there into that what is called the Island Bend.
So they went into the turn side by side, and I don't know that there was any contact. But I think Steve just kind of ran out of track.
Yeah, it's really easy to do here. It's so narrow.
It's very narrow. That is a very fast part of the track. So I think he just kind of ran out of room, and I tried to capitalize on it, but Chris was still able to remain in front.
Yeah, I saw that you did push it there. You almost had a chance. So
yeah. I mean, I had pace. Right, I was right there with Chris. I mean,
yeah. Actually, let me look here real quick.
Until
you had the fastest lap. No.
Yeah, until the pit stop, I was on his bumper. The whole time. So, the problem is I don't really know where I would have passed.
Yeah.
Because there really aren't many spots, and our pace is so similar. I don't know that I really would have gotten an opportunity to pass unless I just sent it and threw it in there, and hope for the best kind of thing.
Yeah. So I had two thoughts about that. It is really difficult to pass here. So I have run an IndyCar race here before, and those cars have like 700 horsepower, and so my strategy there was I could have qualified in the top 5, but I figured I was going to get killed at some point in that first lap, so I just started from the pits.
Okay.
and I was able to get all the way from about like 25th coming out of the pits up to 6th position by the end of the race, I don't think I ever had to pass anybody.
Oh yeah, it was
just people it's so narrow that people are going to throw it off the track at some point in time. And then another thought I had was I've gone off on that corner, that Island Bend corner, that fast one where they had side by side.
Yeah.
I ran into that tire barrier and my game crashed. So it was like a double whammy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, thankfully they have that tire barrier there, because otherwise they would collect the cars going through that bend, right?
That's right. But really, really good run. And you did have the fastest lap of the race, by the way. Just looking at that, it's by like a half.
Not much.
Half a hundredth or something like that. But really good run here today. Good to see you back on the podium. Any shout outs, sponsors? Obviously, Treakle Insurance.
Treakle Insurance, Hagerty, obviously, for jumping on board with us. Just the BMW club and all the guys that come in here and run and do this each week. We couldn't really do it unless they really jumped in all in to do this. So we seem to have good numbers every week. So it's and then Beltway Brewery, give them a shout out as well. I've not been there, but I plan to visit at some point to have a little beer. And yeah, that's
they have all kinds, lager, sours, and stouts.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to maybe visiting sometime and to have a couple. Not too many.
Not too many. Yep. Unless somebody else is driving, then it's okay.
Unless yes, you're being irresponsible.
That's right.
Right.
Well, it sounds good there, Darren. Well, next race is going to be wait, I'm trying to remember now. Laguna is next week because you guys ran New Jersey. There's a mess up in the schedule that we have two different schedules that had New Jersey and Laguna mixed up. So it's next week's Laguna. We won't be broadcasting that, but then it's going to be Road Atlanta. Both of those tracks are pretty good. Sports car kind of tracks. So any thoughts going into those rounds?
Well, let me just say I was a little bummed that we didn't broadcast last week's race because I actually won it.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, but unfortunately I won't be making next week's race because if I get my car fixed, my real race car, I'll be heading to SCCA Super Tour race that's at Pittsburgh Motorsports Park. So I'll miss.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, so I'll miss that race next week if I end up going there. But Road Atlanta, I look forward to Road Atlanta. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Road Atlanta. It's a tough track, and I sometimes I do well there, sometimes not so much. It's a tough track. I mean, it's just it's fast. It's
that level of committing in that first corner and that whole little complex there is just it. You can kill your car there, or you run it. It's a little crazy.
Easily kill your car. Yeah. It's and getting a proper run onto the back straight out of that that double right hander. I mean it's a tough track to really nail it down.
Yeah, the key there is to get a good exit, and then you can, if you're in following somebody, you can get a good slipstream and get a pass going on that straightaway.
Right.
But if you don't hit it right, if you're in the lead car, that's where you can get past, or if you're following somebody, that's where you can't get past.
Right. But at least it's a wide track, so there's plenty of room. Yeah. There's opportunities to pass. Whereas it's a nice track. Actually, I didn't even know I owned the track. To be honest with you, until last night. And
Oulton is one of the free tracks, I believe. So that's why
it's one of the free tracks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it. But it was fun. I actually enjoyed it. It's a fun track.
Really good lapping track. Maybe not the best race track.
Right.
My thought on it is, and I could say that about a lot of tracks. But
true. Right.
So yeah. Anyway, good talking to you there, Darren.
Good talking to you too, Matt.
Yep. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks. And
sounds good.
Be back at the track you love and hate. That'll be good.
Yes.
All right. You take care.
Thanks, Matt. You too, man.
All right, final into the broadcast booth is Hendrik.
Hey, Matt.
How's it going? Pit Viper car, number 69, pink rims car, brings it home third, started fifth. So tell me about your race.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly pretty darn excited to be in the booth tonight. After last night, I just really didn't feel like I had any pace. I was like a solid second off the boys in front. Thought I'd pulled it together in practice and thought I had a good time in quali, and then wound up I think it was in fifth ultimately. So off the start, my whole focus was just trying to make sure I stayed on Chris Hill's butt and catch that green as rapidly as I could. Managed to do that. I think Darren just didn't quite have the same reaction as Chris and Steve did. So that offset Brian, which allowed me to get ahead of him. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I was like, fourth is good. And if I just stay in touch with the folks in front, maybe I could look into third place. And sure enough, Steve went a little too wide there. On what was that turn 3, which allowed me to sneak in onto the podium, and I even had a little bit of a look at second place. But those guys, man, they just had some crazy pace tonight. But I'm still pretty happy. I think I was only about 8 seconds off of Chris Hill at the end, and about 5 seconds off of Darren.
Yep.
Nailed my pit stop. So yeah, just honestly, just thrilled to be here.
Sounds good. Well, I'd say I didn't really follow you too much tonight, unfortunately, but a really good run coming from, it goes back to that start, I think, and how you're able to keep up with Darren and Chris and Steve when Steve had that issue. Anything else out there? Any issues with traffic? Any of that kind of stuff?
No, it was honestly pretty quiet. Just came down to just banging out laps and watching the gap to Steve behind and making sure he wasn't catching me. And I think he had a couple more issues. So I was able to build up a solid gap to fourth.
That's a big gap.
Yeah,
32 seconds, I think, is what it was by the end of the race. So
yeah, no. Again, I mean, I'm really thrilled. I think I really showed some really good pace tonight, keeping up with Darren and Chris, who those two and Steve are typically way out in front of everyone else. So pretty darn happy at my progress, and I think one of the things that I did was I fixed my braking pedal a little bit, so it's gotten a little bit more predictable to be able to do some good threshold braking. And I was also running a new helmet. I was just trying to get some help from Mr. Meeseeks, and I guess that worked out for me.
Yeah, I can see it down there in the car. I've got your car on the slow-mo instant replay, and your car was going by. I can see the helmets on there. It's pretty, because I know what helmet you've picked. I know it's there, but I don't think the average viewer can see it.
When you notice it, you're just kind of like, wait, what?
yeah, exactly. Well, that was a good one. Hey, we're looking forward to seeing you run in the IndyCar here. Got a test race on Tuesday at Indianapolis Road, and then we'll be starting the season there the week after that. Same at Indianapolis Road once again, getting that going.
Yeah, no, looking forward to that. I haven't had a chance to make it out to any of the practices yet. Just been a little too busy with work at the front end of the week, and trying to make sure I carve out the time for this league while it's still going. But definitely going to make an effort to join that, because seems like it could be good fun.
Yeah, sounds good, Hendrik.
And then I'm just going to point out, I had a really good finish also this past weekend with the CMS IRTS series. We finished third place at Monza in a 2.5-hour race, and pretty excited about that finish as well.
That was the one you shared the broadcast of, correct?
Yep, correct. Yep.
Very cool. Well, congratulations there. That was it wasn't like an official thing. It was another league, right?
Well, no, I mean, it's the Pinnacle series for Champion Motorsports series that they're running. Okay. I can't remember who their sponsors are, but they put on a pretty great group of racing over there. A little bit different from this group. I think I still love this group because everyone really gets along well. It's been really fun to watch us help each other and increase each other's pace through the practices, through the races. And right now everyone's still sitting in Discord reviewing the race and chatting about moves and what could have been done better, and giving each other tips. So again, props to Scott for putting on an awesome, really, really friendly league that tends to be really clean. Tonight could have been an absolute, pardon my French, but shit show on the first lap, especially when it takes like 4 laps to warm up your tires. But I think it was, we were just rewatching those first few laps. It was pretty darn clean. So, big props to everyone.
With how narrow the track is, and there's really no passing points, but everybody made it work. Everybody made it work. So.
Unless you remove one of those chicanes, it is going to be a first turn affair, I'm afraid, or a strategy call. And we're a little limited on that just in the way that we're set up this season. But I think Scott's planning on opening things up a little bit. Maybe even having an open setup. Going forward. So I think that could also make the racing a little bit more interesting, so that people can really get the car fine-tuned to their preferences.
Which car? So I think we're switching back over to the M8 in the summer.
We are switching back over to the giant beast.
Which car do you prefer? I was just curious.
Out of all of them, or out of the GTEs or the GT3s?
Of the BMWs.
The BMWs, I'm probably a bigger fan of the GTE at this point, just because I've put a lot of time in with the Corvette and getting used to that threshold braking without ABS. And it's got a little bit more aero to it, and it's just a little bit more fun. Albeit it is a gigantic car, but then again, so's the M4 compared to the other cars in their classes. But yeah, well, actually, no. You know what? I take that back. The Z4.
Is that your favorite?
It was, but sadly, iRacing has retired it from its updates.
Legacy Z4 now. So I think so anyway.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right. Well, Hendrik, any final thoughts? Next week's Laguna, followed by broadcasting. We'll be doing Road Atlanta. Any shout outs also, sponsors, that kind of thing?
Yeah, no, super stoked about Laguna. I think it's a favorite track of everyone's. Another one that's a little tough for passing, but I'm hoping I can put on another podium performance with a little luck, and looking forward to Road Atlanta as well. Then quick shout out as always to Pit Viper sunglasses. Again, still not sponsored, but great pair of sunnies, and good price point, and better than those mainstream kind of crappy brands that overcharge for poor products. And then shout out to any friends or family that might be watching. Really appreciate y'all's support.
Sounds good. Well, I was going to say one last thought about Laguna there is, at least when you drive off the track, it's not like wet grass. It's
depends on the turn, because it's mostly sand, and then there's a couple turns if you go off, it's a wall.
That's true.
So we'll see. It should be fun.
Well, take care of yourself, and we'll see you back in a couple weeks.
Thanks as always, Matt. You have a great night.
You too. All right, that's it for us tonight. Let me go through the final results for everybody here. We can get that pulled up. Chris Hill's going to take our victory here, and then we've got Darren Treakle in P2, Hendrik Deswart in P3. I always try to butcher Hendrik's name there. I don't know if I'm getting it right or not. That's why I just call him Hendrik. Igor Soiker in P4, Brian Kennedy P5, Yakov Bielik in P6, Dean Thuline in P7, Bobby Blankenship in P8, Peter Yerksa in P9, Sten Cellier, final points paying position, that Beltway Brewing Company machine, P10, Matthew Stover P11, Brian Hare P12, John Wood P13, Colin Kortanek P14, Steve Ficacci P15, and finally, Scott Kim, our admin. I know he had a strong early run in the race, but then encountered some issues there. And P16, Robert Benson, P17, and Tim Bradford is P18, contrary to what that says. Barry Bokenner, our first starter there in P19. Tough race for Barry, but he's learning the ropes to these cars. And then we're going to change it up on him. We're going to switch over to the BMW.
He also had a brand new steering wheel and pedals. But quick shout out to Beltway, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I was just going back to that.
I did mention that Barry did have new wheels. I assumed, because he was here, that the new wheels was a thing.
It was.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Beltway as well. I just wanted to add that, and then I'll leave you be. Sorry.
No problem, Hendrik.
Cheers.
Okay, and we are done here for tonight. So thank you for watching, and we'll be back here in a couple of weeks for Road Atlanta.